Hello guys, welcome back to another lower body focus workout. We are hitting the glutes, quads, hamstrings, inner and outer thighs, and the core from every angle today. I am using my own body weight for today's practice and it's going to be super effective like that. But if you wanted to add some weights in or bands in to our practice, of course you're welcome to do that as well. Let's flip on over and head to our back. We're gonna kickstart this workout with some bridge. You probably guessed it. I love to begin most classes, honestly, and especially the lower body focused ones with bridge because it's really nice to mobilize hips, the back, and we're gonna get that really nice isolated glute max activation right off the bat. So from here, step your feet hip distance apart in parallel. And you can always check this alignment by bringing your hands to your hip bones, those two joints in the front of the body. And then we want those joints in alignment with your knees. So you can kind of bring your hands up your thighs. Knees should be in alignment with that. And we want the ankles underneath the knees, maybe a little bit in front. From here, we're gonna tuck the hips under, flatten the back, take a nice big inhale. Exhale, let's tuck the tailbone a little bit more, peel ourselves all the way up into bridge. I like to hold that first one so we can do our body scan. So shoulders aren't curling or lifting off the mat. Ribs are down, belly braced, glutes nice and high, pressing into those heels. Start at the top of your back and roll yourself down. That's your inhale, we exhale, roll back up. Good, holding at the top for a couple of moments before widening through your sits bones and returning to the mat. And you'll notice with bridge, especially as we move through our progressions and our reps, we're always high rep in my classes, you're gonna feel the back of the booty, so the glute max, become more and more activated as that burn increases. And that's why I like to kickstart a lower body class with bridge, because then everything else we do today, even if it's more quad dominant, like our squats we're gonna get into later, you're still gonna really target the booty because we've activated it properly right off the bat. Good, another way to get deeper into that glute max is to connect to your core. So not just, breathing belly back, but actually flexing through your abs at the very top of that lift. Last 3. All the way to the top. Last 2. Toes are fairly light because the weight is in the heels. And then really articulate that pelvic tilt. Roll yourself to your highest point and just pause right here. Relaxing through face, shoulders, ribs are down, belly engaged. From here, let's find 10 pulses. We dip and lift. Maybe still holding at the top of that pulse, just to lock that work into place. Good. Press down into the heels. Last 5, all the way to the top. 4. Breathing 3, 2. One more big lift. Hold it for a second, 1 inch higher. And then bring it all the way down. Good, take a second here. You're welcome to hug the knees into the chest to reset the back and stretch those hamstrings out. But then we're gonna move right along. So next up, we are doing a wide stance bridge lift. So if you're in the middle of your mat, we want the feet right at the end or the edge of the mat. So ankles are gonna be outside or wider than your knees and hips. Maybe toes are slightly turned out. Let's tuck our hips under, take a nice big inhale. Exhale, let's lift up into bridge. And once you're up there, you can always adjust, listening to the body's cues. Hold for a second or two, do your body scan. What adjustments can you make to make the most out of this movement? And then we're gonna roll it down. That's your inhale, exhale, belly to spine, roll up. And as we move through this second progression, feeling the difference. Are we activating in a different area? Do the legs feel more activated, or does the booty feel more activated? The front of the legs, back of the legs, side booty. That presence is gonna help deepen your mind to muscle connections. And our mind to muscle connections are going to help you level up your practice and help you see those results. Your form's gonna be better, your activation's gonna be deeper. Keep going like this. Making sure belly is not popping or the ribs aren't lifting. We want a fairly straight spine, hip bones higher than the chest. Good, equal weight in those feet, toes are still light here. Last 3. And 2. Nice pelvic tilt, roll yourself up. Relax shoulders, connect to your core, 1 inch higher with those hips. Let's find our pulses. We dip and lift. These aren't really fast lifts. These are slow, controlled movements. You're gonna feel each rep. Stay focused on the muscles we're working. Give me 5 more. All the way up. Last 2. Good, last 1. Hold for a second or two, tuck your hips under, brace your core, feel that work, that burn, lock it into place before coming all the way down. Good, take a moment here if you want to hug the knees or stretch the legs. Feel free to take a moment to do that. And then we're moving on to our final progression. We are doing a narrow stance bridge lift. So you can even press your ankles together to check that your feet are in alignment with each other. And then we want either the thighs squeezing together, or maybe there's an inch or a couple centimeters between the legs if that doesn't feel comfortable. But this is gonna be your most narrow stance yet. So feet are a little bit closer than the width of your hips. Let's tuck our hips under. That's your inhale, exhale, we roll up. Good, really connect to the core here, so it's the hips lifting, not the belly. And then roll it down. Exhale up. You're probably gonna feel a deeper stretch in your quads and your hip flexors with this version. Notice anything else that's coming up for you now that we're in a narrow stance. Always being mindful of your jaw, shoulders, neck. It's easy when we're focusing on the lower body to not even notice if we're holding tension in other areas. Good, where do you feel this version? Wherever that burn is, that's your focal point. Stay present with it. Last 3. All the way to the top. Last 2. Good. Next time you're in your bridge, we are holding right there. Good. What adjustments can you make? Can you tuck your hips under? Can you bring those ribs down? Relax through the upper body. From here, you should feel a nice burn happening. We're dipping with the hips or dropping a couple inches. Lift and squeeze. Inhale, exhale. After a few reps, you can shift your attention to your core. Good. Every time you lift, you're focusing on that glute max. We have 5. Final time doing these bridge lifts. Last 3. Press into your heels to get all the way up. 2. All the way to the top and hold. Good. Breathe. Feel the burn. Lean into it 1 inch higher. And then bring it all the way down. Amazing work. Give your knees a nice big hug. You could find happy baby or you could rock from side to side. And then we're going to be moving right along. So let's rock ourselves up to seated. And then we're going to flip over to the hands and the knees for some tabletop work. So we're going to isolate one leg at a time. There's a couple different positions you can be in when we're in tabletop, just depending on how your wrists and shoulders feel. Option 1 is on the hands, underneath the shoulders. Option 2, you can interlace hands on the forearms. I like option 3, which is left hand slightly outside the shoulders, and then right forearm is on the mat, parallel to the short side of the mat. Wherever you are, get comfortable and use your core to stay lifted so we're not dumping or pressing down too hard on the shoulders or wrists. And we're going to be moving our left leg first. So left toes are pointed. You can lift that leg up nice and straight. Gaze is down on the mat around your hands. We're going to take an inhale as we tap those toes on the mat. Exhale, lift the leg up. So it's straight behind us. Legs are in parallel with each other. Nice and slow. We're not arching the back, but we're lifting the leg high enough so we hit the glute max. Good. Breathe for 5. And 4. Use your core to support you. 3. Try not to lean to the right. I caught myself. 2. And 1. You're gonna bring that leg down for a second. Take a breath, lift your chest. Let's inhale through the nose as we lift the leg up just like we did before, but this time we're gonna bring it out to the side, tap the mat. So it's like that back left corner of the mat at a 45-degree angle, and then you exhale, you bring the leg up, around, and then back down to that starting point. So we're drawing a rainbow. It's inhale out. Nothing else moves. You're gonna feel your core here. Exhale, back in line with the center of the body. Good, so we're turning on outer glute. You're gonna feel your obliques supporting you. Just breathe. We're getting a little bit of upper body work no matter where you are with the hands. You're definitely working to support this exercise. Good, and if this is really challenging or too challenging for you, you can make that rainbow a little smaller, so maybe the toe doesn't tap as far out. And on the other end of that spectrum, the further you move that leg away from the midline, the more the core and the glutes have to work. Good, breathe. Almost there. Make sure you're not looking at your feet or your knees. You want to keep the gaze down and the neck long. This is 3. Good, last 2. Up and over. Good, and then the next time that leg is out to the side, you're gonna pause right there. Readjust everything else, find that inner energy. Let's lift and lower straight leg at that 45-degree angle, up and down. Try to pull the torso through center. It's really easy to lean to the right. Flex your abs for support. Good, 5, 4, point your toes, get that leg up. 3, 2, 1 more nice big lift. Hold it at the top, rainbow it back in line with the hip. Bring that knee down, find a child's pose or a seated position. Let it all go. Nice deep breath here. If you want to walk your hands back and just roll your wrists out, especially if you're on your hands, roll your shoulders out. Really nice, amazing work. And we are gonna get into the other side. I'll flip around just so you can see what's happening with that moving leg a little more. So find a nice big energizing inhale through the nose, big exhale out the mouth, and let's set ourselves up. So wherever you were with the hands for the last time is probably where you want to be for this second round, but you can switch it up if you want. And then this time, we're going to be moving our right leg. So let's float those pointed right toes up. Leg is nice and long. Let's inhale, tap the toes. Exhale, lift the leg. Squeeze that glute. You're already gonna feel some activation through that moving leg because it was working really hard in round 1 to stabilize the body as the opposite one moved. Good, lean into your breath at the beginning so you have that support system as things become more challenging. We have 4 more. Lift that leg high enough without arching your back. So when the leg lifts, belly to spine. Last 3. Good, last 1. You're gonna bring the leg down, take a second, keep that chest nice and lifted. We're gonna draw that rainbow. So right leg lifts up and over, tapping the back right corner of your mat, then up, back in line with the hip without moving that torso. Inhale, open, 45 degrees out to the side. Exhale, back in line with the hip. Massaging that glute, mobilizing through the hips. Good, use your core so you're not putting too much pressure on your wrists or your shoulders. Can you pull everything through center so you're not leaning to the left too much this time? Good, is head hanging or can you make that neck nice and long? I like to look at the hands or just in front of them. We have 4. You got it. Feel that work through the left glute. Give me 3. Last 2. Pick up through the torso. Good, this is your last one. You're gonna pause with that leg out to that 45-degree angle. Take a moment, readjust. This is our final push. Pointed toes lift and tap the mat. We have 10. Up and down, 9. Core and breath are your best friend here. We have 5. Good, 4. 3, 2, all the way up. Last one. Hold it there, rainbow it back in line with the hip. Slide that knee to meet the left. Find your well-deserved child's pose, let it go. And then starting to walk the hands back, giving yourself a wrist roll, shoulder roll. Nice deep breaths. All right. Let's find that tabletop position again. As a transition, we're gonna press back to downward dog. Give me some pedals here. You could shake the head yes or no to release any tension in the shoulders. And then when that feels good for the legs and the arms, you can start to walk hands to your feet or feet to your hands. Softening into the knees, passing through that forward fold. We're gonna roll ourselves up to standing. And we are gonna begin our squat series. We're back to that double leg work, which will feel pretty nice after that single leg work. And for our squat, for the first round, we wanna have our feet an inch or two closer to the center of the mat from the edges. So you're still a little bit wider than the hips. Your toes are slightly turned out. Hands are either in prayer on your hips, shoulders down, chin tucked. Let's take it nice and slow. Let's find an inhale as we send the hips back. Maybe hips are parallel to the mat, whatever feels right in the hips for you. And then we exhale, we press up. I still keep a little bend in the knees, so I keep tension on the glutes the whole time. Send the hips back, your gaze is down. We don't want to be looking up here. Exhale, press into the heels. You can find a little hold at the bottom of your squat to really feel that work happening through your quads, your glutes. The core is going to help you come back up to standing on that exhale. Good, and we want to think about sticking the butt or the hips back and finding a little hinge with the chest, still keeping shoulders above the hips, but that's going to help us hit the glute max a little bit more than being super quad dominant with our squats. Good, we're almost there. You're going to give me 2 more, and we're going to pulse it out. Good, take a nice big breath. The next time you're in standing, let's sink it down, find your squat. Hips are low, weight in the heels. Let's pulse it out for 10. Nice and slow, 9. Good, breathe into the burn, surrender to it, challenge yourself. We have 5, 4, drop your shoulders, relax your face. We have 2, 1, get nice and low before powering all the way up, squeezing those glutes. All right, shake it off. Roll your ankles if you want, and then we're gonna move right along to our second progression, and we are doing sumo squats. Still with that same kind of hip hinge shape, so we hit the booty a little more. So we probably want the feet around the edges of your yoga mat. Toes are still slightly turned out. Hands are wherever is most comfortable. Roll your shoulders back. Take an inhale here. Exhale as you press out of that sumo squat. So feet are wider than they were before, but same shape with the body. And we want to make sure there's not a really big arch in our lower back. We want to protect the spine, and we can use our core to help do that. Knees are slightly pressing out, and we're getting low. Notice the differences between each progression we're doing in our squat series. The shape we're creating with the body is similar to the one we created when we were doing our bridge lifts. And the same kind of checklist for cues apply here as well. So weight in the heels, Pressing into them to help power up. Last 3. Good, and then the next time you're in standing, find that energizing inhale. Make any adjustments you need to. Sink it down to your squat. From here, pulse it out for 10. It's a lift and a dip, tension on the booty the whole time. Quads are on fire, it's all good. We have 5, 4, belly to spine, 3, 2, 1 more. Get nice and low, then power up. Woo, nice work, shake it off. Always grabbing that water, moving intuitively, listening to the body. And then once you feel ready with that reset, we're gonna be finding our third progression, third and final. So feet are in a narrow stance. We don't want the ankles touching for this one. There's like 2 or 3 inches apart from the feet. And then you can bring your hands to a prayer. We wanna really think about sitting in that imaginary chair. So let's take an inhale, bend the knees, send the hips back, chin tuck, gaze down. Exhale, return all the way up. Maybe you're keeping a soft bend in the knees. It's gonna be a little more challenging when we keep that tension on the glutes the whole time. Inhale. It's kind of like our chair squat in yoga. It might feel a little more challenging for the knees and the hips, a little tighter, because our shape is a little smaller. We can press those palms together for energy. Get low. Feeling the difference between this third progression compared to the first 2 squats we did. Mind to muscle connections. Good. Send the hips back. Maybe toes are lifting a little bit. Be mindful of your balance if you're playing around with that. We have 3. And 2. Good, let's do 1 more, and then the next time you are in standing, roll your shoulders, connect to your core. Let's finish super strong, sink it low. Good, gaze down, pulse it out, 10. Breathing into this. Good. We have 5, a little bit lower, 4, 3, 2, get nice and low. Last one, you could hold for a moment to challenge yourself. Power up and let it go. Nice work. Come to the back of your mat. Find a nice big shoulder roll back. Good, let's inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hips go behind you, pass through that forward fold again. Looking between the legs, softening into the knees. Walk yourself out to a downward dog. Good, you can just hold if you want, or you might choose to do those pedals through your ankles. You could open the mouth, stick out the tongue, anything to release tension through that jaw will feel really nice here. Good, letting your heart rate come down, hold here for a couple more pedals in each direction. And when you feel good there, you can set the knees down and just sit back on your heels. We have 1 more series to go, getting back to that single leg work, because it's so important to make sure everything's even and it's gonna hit the body in a slightly different way so we get that well-rounded workout today. You're gonna come to your right shoulder in a side lying position. You know I had to include side lying in today's workout. And you're gonna have your legs staggered. So your bottom right leg is at a 45-degree angle in front of you. Make sure it's definitely in front of the body. It's gonna act like a bit of a kickstand and support the movement. your top left leg is in alignment with your shoulder. So one long line from toes all the way to the crown. Ribs are back, a little bit of weight in that top hand for balance. Let's start by moving our left leg. We lift it up, we drop it down. We lift it up on the exhale, inhale, drop it down. Oftentimes that moving leg wants to come forward in front of the body where the bottom one is because it's more restorative and supported. But we want to think about that heel kind of pressing back as you lift your left leg up. You're going to feel more glute max when we do this. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop the leg in line with the hip. Take a moment. Connect to your core. Big inhale through the nose. Let's draw a rainbow shape up and over, tapping our bottom toes. It doesn't need to go right in front of us, that moving leg, just a little bit in front. And then up, over, and back in line with the hip. We rainbow forward just like we did in tabletop. Turning on outer glute, inner and outer thighs, rainbow back. Nothing else is moving besides that leg. Good. Think about reaching your toes away from the hips as they move. Good. And make sure that leg goes all the way back. It could even be an inch behind the glute to really feel that activation. Good. We have 4 more. Up and over. Just like in tabletop, you can customize how big that rainbow shape is. If it's too much, if you're finding a cramp or anything painful, just make the shape a little smaller. It doesn't even need to be very high. I don't even want it to be all the way up. We just want to make sure it's lifting above the hip, and then you're going to hit the right muscles. Good. Last 2. Good. You're gonna lift that top leg up and over, tap your bottom toes, reconnect with your core, soften your jaw. Let's find those lifts at that 45-degree angle in front of us. Strong leg lifts on that exhale, inhale, reset. Good, press into your palm if you need to help anchor yourself. Good. 4 more. Feel that nice activation through that outer glute. Good. We have 2. 1 more nice big lift. Hold it at the top. Rainbow it back. And then you can bend your knees, stack them, and just let it go. Awesome work. Give your ankles a little pedal. You can roll your right wrist, and then we're just gonna prop ourselves up to seated. You can hold through center, or you might choose to do a little tip with your knees to open up through your hips. You could take butterfly stretch here with the knees apart, feet together. And then we're gonna make our way to that left side body to finish strong. This is the last thing we are doing in today's workout. So, recenter, let go of any distracting thoughts, any limiting beliefs that you can't do this, and set yourself up. Legs are staggered. Bottom is basically at that bottom right corner of your mat. Top leg is nice and long, in line with the hip. Make sure your chest isn't spilling or moved forward. We want it in one long line. And here we go. Top leg lifts and lowers. Pair the movement with your breath for the most support and the most engagement ultimately. Good, and each side feels a little bit different. Same within tabletop, and especially in side lying because we're balancing on the hip and our ribs, and sometimes we're shaped a little bit differently on each side of the body. So that on top of having a dominant side is gonna make things feel a little different. Take it slow. 3 more. Notice that the leg's coming forward, press the heel back. 2. Last lift. Bring the leg down. Reconnect with core. Let's draw those rainbows up and forward. Tap your bottom toes. Up and back in line with the hip. Focusing on stability for the rest of the body. Good. Can you lengthen through your leg more by reaching the toes away as they draw that rainbow? If you're rocking, put some weight in your top hand or engage your core muscles a little bit more. Four more. Final push. Good. You want to challenge yourself by lifting that leg a little higher, keeping that bottom foot heavy and still. Last 2. Good. Last one here. And then the next time that leg is forward, set it or rest it or hover it above that bottom foot for a second. Pull ribs back. Focus on your breath. Here we go. We lift leg up and down at that 45-degree angle. The activation, the area that you feel working, is going to shift a little now that the leg is moving up and down in front of the body. So drop out of the head, into the body, focus on it. You got it. We have 5. Good. 4. 3. 2. One more nice big lift. We're gonna hold it right there. Embrace the shake, embrace the burn, bring it back in line with the hip to finish strong, and then fold those legs in front of you, let it go. Really amazing work. Pedal your ankles, roll your wrist, and let's roll over to the back. Just drop into a butterfly position for a moment. Letting your knees relax, let's close the eyes, take a nice big energizing inhale. Breathing in that activation, that energy, accomplishment, endorphins, all the good stuff that comes after a challenging workout. Good, letting go of any tension or tightness in your jaw, your shoulders. Let your knees relax, a little closer to the mat. Good, and then you're gonna open your eyes. Bring your legs back together. Let's take a quick glute stretch. Let's begin by crossing our right ankle over our left knee. And then you're gonna gently lift up into that figure 4 stretch. Flexing your feet, breathing. Good, you can straighten your left leg and start to draw circles with your left ankle. We never want to forget to show the ankles love, reversing the direction of those circles. Good, one more breath here as you bend the left knee, hug it a little closer to the nose. And then let's switch those legs around. Left over right, figure 4 stretch. Flexing through your ankles, nice deep breaths. Good, and when you're ready, we'll straighten that right leg, nice big circles with that ankle. and reverse. Super good work. Set that foot down. You can hug the knees into the chest, a little rock on the back. And when you are ready, let's press ourselves up, finish with a big shoulder roll, and you guys are all done. Remember, on this channel, we have a few really nice hip mobility focused workouts. We have a stretch flow or two up right now, so lean into those classes if you're feeling a little sore, or even when you were doing your squats today, if it felt challenging to get low in your squat, or side lying felt extra spicy and like there was something pinchy in your hips, that's a sign we need to lean into our mobility work. Mobility is the foundation of any type of strength training, weight training, or something like this. So you can continue to grow and progress and do the workout while feeling comfortable but challenged at the same time. So thank you so much for being here with me. I hope that you feel good and strong, and I will see you in the next workout. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you're not already, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.